I thought I'll take the plunge into doing a vlog at the inspiration of a friend of mine. And I thought I'd like to sing a tune and then read a little bit from a very interesting book by Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. I don't know this tune, I'm just trying to work it out as I go. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Okay, so I know that's just That's just a basic attempt, basic try. Okay, I found a nice interesting piece out of this book, Back to Godhead, The Pioneer Years, 1944 to 1960, by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, the founder, Acharya of the Hare Krishna movement, the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. And this is a compendium of the original newspaper articles that he was printing, writing, editing, distributing. It was the beginning of his mission to teach in English the science of Krishna consciousness. And what I wanted to say was that, as we all know, in the world today, so much political things are going on, so much strife, change, massive change. Everyone's looking for change. And by the wranglings of political parties and corrupt, selfish international bankers, colluding between governments, international institutions for personal, selfish gain, at the detriment and cost of others' lives. So this article here, October 1944, thanks to the government of India. Srila Prabhupada had troubles getting paper during the war going on there. I think it must have been, I wouldn't want to speculate, but anyway, let's just read it. Thanks to the government of India. Readers of Back to Godhead, who were practically disappointed to learn that the government of India had twice refused to give permission for the continuation of publication of Back to Godhead, will be glad to know and see that in the third attempt by their humble servant, the government of India has kindly given special permission to continue the publication of Back to Godhead. We have already conveyed our sincere thanks to the government of India for allowing us to serve the purpose of His Divine Grace, Sri Srimad Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj, and we can now assure to our numerous readers and patrons that Back to Godhead will continue to be published in each and every month regularly. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta is Srila Prabhupada's spiritual master, who gave him the instructions to teach in the West, speak the language, to share this science of Krishna consciousness to the English Western world. Extracts from the text of the last correspondences that passed between the government of India and your humble servant, which resulted in the reappearance of Back to Godhead, is given herewith. Quotation begins. Sir, with due respect, I beg to submit that under instruction of His Divine Grace, Sri Srimad Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj, the spiritual head of the Gaudiya Vaishnavas, I had to start a paper under the caption, Back to Godhead. The very name will suggest the intention of starting such a paper in the midst of heavy turmoil through which the world is now passing. A copy of the same booklet is sent herewith for your kind perusal. In that booklet you shall find strong world opinions, even by many reputed politicians all over the world, in favor of such a movement to bring back the world into sanity by training the mind and educating human nature for the unshaking spiritual plane considered to be the supreme need of humankind. I hope you will kindly go through the paper by making some time, and I may draw your attention especially to the introductory portion. Permission was sought from the Secretary of the Department of Industries and Civil Supplies for starting the paper as a monthly magazine, but as usual the permission has not been granted for scarcity of paper. But in the opinion of the editorial board of Back to Godhead, amongst whom there are many erudite scholars, many erudite secular scholars, sannyasis, and self-sacrificed souls, there is not so much scarcity of paper as much there is scarcity of education. We believe that the ultimate supplier is the personality of Godhead. He supplies everything through his material agent, the nature, for the benefit of living entities. But godless creatures think that they are the proprietors of things, which is madness and illusion. catastrophe that is now in vogue in the present war of supremacy is guided by this false sense of proprietorship, and therefore there is need of making propaganda amongst all human beings in order to bring them back to the sense of the ultimate proprietorship of Godhead, of everything, and we are simply allowed to handle things in order to give bona fide service to the ultimate proprietor. For the scanty supply of electric light and air conducted by the electric fan, the power of which is after all borrowed from the treasure house of nature, we have to pay heavily to the supplying agent. But we do not think for a moment that we must pay at least something to the ultimate supplier for the immense store of light and air, without which we cannot live for a moment. Scarcity of paper there is, that any sane man can understand, and as such we can also understand the same. But we can understand another thing also, why there is such scarcity all around, which the secretary could not possibly follow. In ancient time, the enlightened Indians would sacrifice tons and tons of valuable quality of ghee in the fire, knowing well the productive economic laws, but not foolishly as we think, but for a greater benefit of humankind, which the world has yet to learn from India. By sacrificing tons and tons of ghee for the yagyas, the sacrifices, there was hardly any scarcity in the then society of India. But at present, abandonment of such sacrifices for God's sake, dictated by modern productive economic laws, has produced nothing but scarcity all round. Can we not therefore sacrifice a few reams of paper in the midst of many wastages for the same purpose, in order to derive greater benefit for the humankind? I request that the government should take up this particular case in the light of spiritualism, which is not within the material calculation. Even in Great Britain, the government has immensely supported a similar movement called the moral rearmament movement, without consideration of the scarcity of paper, which is more acute there than here. Let there be a page only, if not more, for the publication of Back to Godhead, for which we do not mind, but my earnest request is that the government should at least let there be a ventilation of the atmosphere for which my paper, Back to Godhead, meant. Kindly, therefore, give it a serious consideration, and allow me to start it even by one page every weekly or monthly as you think best, without thinking it as ordinary waste of paper, for the sake of humanity and Godhead. I hope most faithfully that you shall pass orders sanctioning the publication of this most important transcendental message, and oblige. Thanking you in anticipation, I have the honor to be, Sir, your most obedient servant, Abhay Charan Day, editor and founder, Back to Godhead. And then there's the reply. Sir, with reference to your letter dated the 10th of July 1944, I am directed to say that on reconsideration, the Government of India are pleased to grant permission as a special case for the continuance of publication of the magazine Back to Godhead, and to allot a ration of ... of new newsprints per month for the same ... not filled in. I have the honor to be, Sir, your most obedient servant, D. Hejmadi, paper officer. Interesting idea, actually. It's the verse in the Bhagavad Gita, which I shall quickly... I'm just going to have a look here in the back. It's Sarva Loka Maheshwaram Suridam Bhoktram Yagitapasam Sarva Loka Maheshwaram Suridham Sarabhutanam. I don't remember it actually. Was it Bhoktram Yagitapasam? Let me go to the Sanskrit beginning of the verse list. Bhoktaram Yagitapasam 529. Okay, so here we go, 529. 529. Yeah. This is an interesting verse. The Bhagavad Gita is sort of like the basic. It's sort of like the basic fundamental knowledge, fundamental information about spiritual life, really. So it goes like this. Bhoktaram Yagitapasam Sarvaloka Maheshwaram Suridam Sarvabhutanam Gyatva Mam Shantimrityati. A person in full consciousness of me, knowing me to be the ultimate beneficiary of all sacrifices and austerities, the Supreme Lord of all planets and demigods, and the benefactor and well-wisher of all living entities, attains peace from the pangs of material miseries. So, ultimately, the Supreme Person, the cause of all causes, is a conscious person, the ultimate person, actually. And he's saying here, a person in full consciousness of me, knowing me to be the ultimate beneficiary of all sacrifices and austerities, the Supreme Lord of all planets and demigods, and the benefactor and well-wisher of all living entities, attains peace from the pangs of material miseries. So long that we try to continue to grab land grabs, political grabs, economic grabs, exploitation of the resources of material nature, we will always be suffering. And the conditions never really change. This is the Kali Yuga we're living in. The nature of things are like that. As Prabhupada said in that verse, in the Back to Godhead, he said, nobody can make a change of the weather, just as one cannot change winter into summer. So the nature, the way things are in the Kali Yuga is predetermined, it's fixed up. This is the winter. As time is cyclical, travels through eons, ages, there's different zones, different experiences. The quality, the resultant effect, the mood, the environment, the status of nature changes. Anyway, so I hope not to imitate. But as I'm reading, I thought I'd share this with all of you. I must say, I do feel it's a little strange. I don't really like the idea of putting myself online.